our last speaker, who is an amazing god sister of mine. Every time I listen to her, I feel that much more closer to Srila Gurudev. She always emphasizes my relationship with Srila Gurudev, and she always encourages me to get closer to Srila Gurudev. She's a loving mother, not to just her daughter, but for people like, for silly children like me. And she's an amazing sister, and she's an amazing auntie. I'm going to stop glorifying her because she's probably telling me off soon. So it's none other than our Srimati Radhika Didi.
Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Iti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bharevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my heartfelt obeisances unto the lotus feet of my darling Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishna Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimati Bhaktivedanta Narayana Gosvami Maharaj. The same heartfelt pranams to my darling Srila Prabhupada and to our entire Guru Varga, to all of you here, and like Madhukar said, to this incredible family that we have, given to us by Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and our entire Guru Varga. My mind and my heart are swimming in remembrances of Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada and Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj and so many others from all the sharing these last few hours. It's quite incredible. I'm going to try and swim through. I just made a little list of moments, I guess. And when I think of Gurudev, I think of how he gave us all a collective message. His Vani is what he wanted us to propagate. And repeating that of his Gurudev, of Srila Prabhupada as well. But also his Vani manifested in his little exchanges, like we heard as well. This Lokik Sadvandhu Bhat Priti that he created, that all of us felt like he was our family member, our nearest and dearest, the love of our life. I remember being 21 and just having finished formal academic education and just being at the manor, actually, in front of Srila Prabhupada, whose feet I'd sat at many times before, who my mom and dad had told me they had seen him in that place on the Vyasasan. So for me, his murti was him. And I remember just sitting with him and saying, I want a guru like you. And I don't know where the sincerity of that prayer came from. It didn't really come from me. It just came out of somewhere. And a year later, I was in Mathura, sitting at the lotus feet of our Srila Gurudev. And his first instruction in that class was he wanted us all to develop a greed for the greed that the Brajbasis have, that the gopis have for Krishna. And that was such a powerful message that Gurudev gave us. Like Madhukar, everything he was sharing really resonated strongly. Everything all of you have been saying have resonated strongly, but Gurudev made it really clear from day dot. Okay, this is our goal, Radha Dasyam. Then I was handed this book, if you've all read it, My Shiksha Guru and Priya Bandhu. And any doubts that I had that there was any difference between Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada were completely eradicated from reading this book. I was sitting in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir by Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir, reading this book. And it cleared every doubt. Gurudev says in the book, Srila Swami Maharaj's order to me was that I help his devotees. If I am obeying him, then I may be disobeying others. In any case, even if the whole world is on one side opposing me, I will be on the other side trying to obey him. And those words stuck so deeply. And I felt like, yes, that's what I want to do too. I want to obey Srila Prabhupada. So it sounds like this personality knows exactly what he's talking about. So the first time I had so another thing I came to recognize is Gurudev gave instructions to us all the time in all of his classes. And sometimes an opportunity was given for us to really have some heart surgery and get some instructions drilled in deeply. And he would give individual messages to each of us, to his children. And I came to understand after some time that some of these messages were very individual and personal and according to time, place, and circumstance. And some of those messages were individual and personal and were meant to unravel themselves throughout our lifetime. So I'm feeling now that there's instructions he gave to me 20 years ago that I'm just starting to unpack a little bit deeper. And then I also realized that he gave us collective instructions too. And I'm so looking forward to hearing more. We hear from our seniors, you know, those who have actually renounced their worldly attachments and any worldly acquisitions, and have really given a huge part of their existence in service to Vapu and Vani. So it's beautiful to hear from these personalities like yourself, Shripad Nemi Maharaj, you know, and Shripad Madhav Maharaj. Today we've heard Srimati Yashashwini Didi, like you've really just given everything. So it's so beautiful to hear you unravel the instructions for us and make them clear for us. And I just realized that these collective instructions are meant to be shared with each other. This is such a beautiful Sangha and forum to be in. I feel so blessed to have you as my brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties. So one of the instructions, the first instructions I realized was for me individually, and I have shared with people personally, is when I first met Gurudev, he asked me, what is bhakti? And I was like, oh, devotional service. I was like Madhukar, you know, nah, devotional service. And he said, do you know this verse? Anya Bhilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmana Vritam Manukalyena Krishna Nishilanam Bhakti Uttama. And I was like, no. And he went, oh, you know nothing. And in that moment, that first moment, my ego flared. I was 22, you know, I had a degree, and I was like, what? I've been a devotee since I was born. What? I know nothing. And there was a moment of that ego. And then in the same kind of moment, simultaneously, there was nothing. And I went, oh, I know nothing. Okay, teach me. And it was so beautiful because he gave that to me. I had the ego and he just went, you know, nothing, and cleared the slate like the Etch-a-Sketch, whoosh, whoosh, gone. And it was a beautiful moment. And I knew, okay, this is how I must always come to him with this mood that I know nothing. And even here amongst you all, I know nothing. And there was one time in Birmingham, a year later, he was speaking to all of us, and he was really cross with us. And he was saying that he was just disgusted that we were behaving like prostitutes. And Sripad Madhavaji spoke about this loyalty, you know, this one-pointedness. We talk about this loyalty, and he was described us as all prostitutes, and I was so upset. And I was like, oh, you know, I've been trying to do a teaching degree, and I've been trying to like spend time with my friends, and I've been trying to do different things, and there's no loyalty, and this is what I am. And I happen to have the opportunity, Brajnath Prabhu, you just gave me so many opportunities for darshans with Gurudev. And I was with my mom, and I said to Gurudev, I'm so sorry that you're so disgusted with me. I want you to feel proud of me as your daughter. I want you to feel happy that you've given me this gift of Harinam and Diksha mantras, and that I'm worthy of that. And I want you to feel like just inspired to give me more. I don't want you to feel disgusted with me. And he laughed and he said, oh, this wasn't for you. But he laughed and he said, always think like this and I will be happy. And it really stuck with me, that too, that's it. That's what it takes to make you happy. For me to just think like this. Sincere thought. It was genuine. I wasn't just offering lip service. I was truly upset that he felt this way. But that's all I said, that I wanted to make him happy, and that's all he needs. That's all he was saying. And I knew in that moment, and I've shared it time and time again, that was a collective instruction for us all to just always think like we want to please him. I only ever wrote him one letter, which I had delivered to him and read to him. But I've always, like the Dear Diary, I've always written to Gurudev, because in the reply that he gave me, this is back when I first came to him, he said I could write to him from time to time. And so I have letters to Gurudev, my own journal. And I wrote him this letter and he wrote back. And again, there was personal individual instruction, but I wanted to share a collective blessing that he wrote in the letter. Please convey my heartly blessings to all the other devotees and go on with your spiritual practices with great enthusiasm. Do not fear. I am always with you, protecting you. And Krishna will certainly help you. You will never feel alone at any time. And I got that letter in December 2000. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, in the 20 years since then, I have never felt alone at any time because of those words. If ever my ego gets the better of me and I think that, oh, we're all alone in this world, even when I'm singing, it's the jag mein akeli hoon. I know that there's a really special meaning to that akeli, that alone, that alone comes attached to him, and that it's not loneliness. It is that loyalty that he's purchased us, he has us, he has our heart, and that's the alone, him alone. So I wanted to share that with all of you. Also, another time when I went to him complaining and moaning, and yes, woe me. And he said to me, problems will always come. Look at me. I'm always getting so many problems from here, there, and everywhere. But he said, but don't let these problems stop you from doing what you need to do. And I had come to him complaining about difficulties with performing my seva. At the time, it was serving in the school in Badger. And this was his response. Problems will come, but don't let them stop you from doing your seva. On a very personal note, there have been, I think I've lost count now, times when I have just needed his darshan, and not through my guru mantra. I've wanted darshan with him directly, and I have called out to him and cried out to him that I need you here now with me, where I can tangibly exchange with you. And every time, by some means, he has manifest, either through a phone call or through bringing me to a darshan, or even one time I was sitting outside his room, adamant that I was not going to leave outside his room until I had his darshan. And he came out to chastise Shivananda Prabhu, who was his bodyguard, door guard, that why did he keep letting people come in? And I was sitting there still wishing to have darshan with Gurudev in his room. And it took another elder god sister, Vaijanti Mala Didi and Gopanandini Nandini Didi, to make me realize that actually my stubbornness and my tantrum brought Gurudev out to give me darshan, and me thinking, oh, I'm just going to leave. He's not really got time for me, some people can go in and some people can't. But actually he came out in his little gamsha with his little pot belly. And that was his reciprocation. And this is Sri Guru, that they are, yes, all-knowing and Tattvajnani and know past, present, and future, and yet he will hear my call and answer to it. It's incredible. Another time I tried to give him a gift. I was really into crystals, and I had this crystal that was really murky and cracked on the inside. I thought it was really pretty, and I was like, oh, Gurudev, this is like my heart. It's really cloudy and cracked on the inside. And he looked at it and laughed, and he's like, what will I do with this? And he didn't take it, and I was a little bit offended. And then he looked at me and he said, I will take the essence of your heart and offer it at the feet of Radha and Krishna. So even when we come with feeble attempts of exchanging gifts, with limited understanding of what that really is in the spiritual sense, Gurudev takes our material, conditioned way of thinking of loving expression and just turns it into something beautiful. He is my Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paripasyate. He is my carrying what I have, preserving what I have, and carrying what I lack. He is that manifest. He is the words of Krishna manifest in reality for all of us. Not only that, he opened the doors to who Srila Prabhupada is, Gauravani Pracharine. He opened the treasure chest of Srila Prabhupada and our entire Guru Varga. The first time I decided to throw it all in and go for Parikrama was Navadvip Parikrama 2003, and I just rocked up at the airport clueless. I had no idea where to go, and someone ended up meeting me at the airport, a colleague's mother, and took me to the Kolkata Mutt. And I'd never been there before, and Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ji was still there. And everyone else was in Navadvip already, and he was still there. And there was a family that was serving him, and they allowed me to travel with them in their car, traveling behind Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj all the way to Navadvip for my first parikrama. And when I had no idea who he even was. I just thought, oh, what a sweet smile, but he doesn't say anything. And we just followed him all the way to Navadvip. And when we got to Navadvip, there was this big welcoming, and Guru Puja, and Gurudev was there welcoming him. And I couldn't believe how Gurudev had arranged for Maharaj to bring me all the way to Navadvip. And he asked me, how did you get here? And in my head, I was still thinking, oh, you know, I came with this airline from London on an airplane and then took a taxi, you know, or came with this family. But out of my mouth just came, you brought me here, you pulled me here. And I didn't realize at the time there were so many devotees around, and he just nodded his head and he went, yes, and walked off. And afterwards, so many were saying, I didn't realize that actually, yes, we all think we come through our own endeavor. We you know, worked these hours and worked these jobs, and we bought a ticket and we made these plans. But actually, he showed in 1 second, no, I've brought you here. And it's the same now. Who has brought us to this Zoom call? He has. And it's incredible how, like Yashodanandan was saying, that there's an underlying thread of a message that runs through all of these sessions that we've had, and everyone seems to just fall in line with it, and we seem to like synergize with each other and have the same feeling in our preparation and sharing as well. And it reinforces for me, Gurudev is directing this all. He said to Brajendra Nandan Prabhu at the school one time, they think they are all managers, but I am managing you all. Don't worry. So just to close, because I know we've run over time as well, this last pastime was in Badger, and it was a time where for the Badger festival, there's a lot of service that goes on beforehand. And then all the devotees arrive, like 300-400 devotees arrive for the festival, and they camped on site, and then everyone mucks in, and it's a beautiful festival, but it's a busy festival. And we're constantly trying to engage ourselves in different sevas, be it Prashad Seva, be it Gurudev's rooms, be it dramas, preparing the toilets and the tents and cleaning and rooms and everything. And there's so much to do. It's a busy time. So the moment when Gurudev's going back to his room after his classes in the morning and the evening, we're all just lining up to just catch a glance with him and have this exchange with him. And some of us, we catch that glance and then we run to the end of the line again to see if we can catch it again. And then we run to his room to see if we can see him just before he goes in. And this 1 year for the Badger Festival, I was trying to get my moment, my glance, my look with Gurudev, you know, like, and it was a mood of, look at me. And he just wouldn't. He would speak to the person standing on the left, on the right, even behind me, and he would not speak to me. And every day I would try again and again, and every day I would go to Shanti Didi. And I would be crying. I was like, have I done something wrong? Like, I've given up my life and come to Badger, and he's come for this 1 week for the festival, and I just want one look. And he just is ignoring me, and I must have done something wrong, and I was really lamenting it. And she'd be like, don't worry, I saved you a cherry pip from his breakfast prasad plate. And she gave me this cherry pip, and I would just chew on this cherry pip, and I'd be like, okay, I'll try again today. And then again, the same thing would happen the whole day, serving, and then the evening would come and he would do that same thing, and he was talking to everyone. He was even talking to people who didn't care to be spoken to. And I was like, he's not speaking to me, Shanti. And she's like, don't worry, I saved you a cherry pip from his plate. Here, had the cherry pip. And this went on for like the 5 days of the festival. And by the end, I was so distraught. And You know, we sang Gurudev off the mountain, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe, and I was crying, not one look. I didn't get one look. And it was Vaijanti Mala again this time, you know, and I was like, I'm so like disappointed. And I told her, you know, and then Shanti Didi came along again and she's like, hey, I got you the cherry pip from his breakfast plate. Here you go. And I took it. And Vaijanti was like, wow, aren't you the lucky one? I was like, yeah, she's been getting me a cherry pip every day. And she went, what? And I was like, yes, that's all I got. And then she said, how many cherries do you think Gurudev can eat every day? And I was like, I don't know, a handful? She's like, no, guess again. How many cherries? 4, maybe 5 cherries. And I was like, okay, great. And she's like, and you told me you got a cherry pip every day? And I was like, yeah. She's like, how many people are at this festival? How many devotees are here at this festival? I was like, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 on the weekends. She said, yeah. And out of all of those hundreds of devotees, every single day you got one of those 4, maybe 5 cherry pips that were left on his breakfast plate. Do you really think your Gurudev is ignoring you? And then it really dawned on me that his mercy is so profound and broad and deep, like we're hearing, so tall and so deep. It will come in so many different forms. And sometimes it's going to come as a cherry pip that has been in his mouth and on his plate and come to you, and you can put his remnants in your mouth and absorb the Harikatha, absorb the prem, absorb everything that he has put into this Mahaprasad that he has honored with the actual mood that he talks about. We've heard in Purushottam Mas, this mood of seva, of serving Mahaprasad. And he's giving this to you freely. No questions asked. You don't even want it sometimes, and he gives it to you anyway. Srila Prabhupada, you might not even want it, and you are being given it without even realizing it. So just to remember Gurudev, to remember Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, to remember Srila Prabhupada, to remember our entire Guru Varga. There are so many of them. And to understand that out of billions of human beings on this planet right now, we are being given their cherry pips. We are being given their Mahaprasad from their lotus lips, from their hearts on a daily basis. And oh my gosh, the level of gratitude that we are able to experience just from that alone is immeasurable. What to speak of that which is yet to come. It's a past the parcel, lifetime after lifetime, layers with a gift in every layer. And what is yet to come, we have no idea to fathom. So thank you to all of you for organizing these festivals, from Brajnath Prabhu requesting Gurudev to come to Holland, to the West, from you, Maharaji, going with Urkram Prabhu, you know, finding Gurudev irresistible, asking questions, being in the Katha where he spoke Vilapkus Manjali, and that was recorded and passed down generation to generation. I can pass those recordings down to my puja as well. I'm so grateful to all of you. You are my Udipan for Gurudev. This Sangha is my Udipan for Gurudev. Please may it go on for millennium after millennium after millennium, with whatever technology is developed to make it happen. Vancha kalpatrubhascha kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sorry if I went over. I know I did.
Absolutely stunning. You captured Srila Gurudev, his essence, his love and affection. I'm actually just a little bit stuck. I'm basically on all of these programs. I've been crying and weeping like a baby. Probably some of you that have been seeing me have been watching me, but these things, I only had an association of Srila Gurudev for that physically for a millisecond. So when I hear these instructions, when I hear these pastimes, when I hear all of these things, I'm feeling so much gratitude. And you know, in Jaya Jaya Gurudev, the Kirtan, Jaya Jaya Shri Guru, you know, there's the second verse in that it says, his eyes are the abode of bliss. Seeing a person as fallen as me, this personality voluntarily gave me Harinam, even without me asking. And he did, he gave me it. And I know that he gave all of this, but you know, he gave in that Harinam, he gave everything to all of us. And you know, and the beauty about it is that everyone in the West, I know for sure, is that everyone's cried to Srila Prabhupada first and said, give me a guru like you. Everybody, I know anyone that I've spoken to that never knew Srila Gurudev first, cried in front of Srila Prabhupada. And, you know, so I'm very fortunate, and I thank you, Radhika Didi, for sharing a piece of your heart. And I know you don't normally do that, but today you did, and I'm so grateful. So thank you to you and the whole devotees that have spoken here today, that you've brought me again that much closer to Srila Gurudev. And I pray for your association, and I pray that you all just keep me in your association, because without you, I cannot be close to Srila Gurudev. Let me serve you. Let me continue to serve you.